You got any weapons? Tap that down real quick. Make sure you don't have any weapons. Here. Don't reach for nothing. Shots fired! Shots fired! I'm hit! He's taking off in my car. Shots fired. I'm hit. He's running. He's running down 21st behind the brown house. Starting sir. I don't know. Just get in it. Get on the brakes.
Welcome back, folks. This is Not Woke But Awakened. My name is Chris, and we'll be talking about a topic that, it's a bit of a hot one today. We have a lot of officer-involved shootings, and I've made other videos in regards to this as well. But I'm trying to come at this one with a little bit of nuance, because here's the reality. I'm a big supporter of our police forces. But I'm also a big supporter of our U.S. military. What you just saw in this other video is what can happen on a dime when a police officer approaches a suspect and they don't want to comply. I know a lot of people think that officers are overdoing it with their, with their use of force and, how they try to, take control of people whenever they go to, to arrest them or detain them. That video shows you exactly why they have to approach with caution and why, if they are exhibiting behaviors like this individual literally standing there with his hands in his pockets, that's a bad sign. I've even approached officers in the past, and this was, I don't know, probably 6-8 years ago. I took a trip somewhere, me and a buddy. It was a long road trip. Didn't quite make it to our destination, and we were both tired. We pulled off at a gas station. We thought, we were kind of in the middle of BFE at this point. And we was like, where the hell are we? We should probably just go ahead and crash for the night. It was getting late. We were getting tired and just no longer really safe to be driving. There was a police officer there, and it was a little chilly that night, actually. And so as I was approaching the officer, I had my hands in my pockets, wasn't even thinking about it. And this was a white officer. I approached him, and all I was asking is if he knows where there might be a hotel or motel that we can crash at. And before I even really said anything, he stopped me, put his hands out. He said, "Sir, can you please take your hands out of your pockets, please?" And it was then that it clicked that, oh, my bad. And this is why. Because things like these situations can turn on a dime for an officer, and things can go very badly very quickly. And all these officers are trying to do is get home to their families. That being said, while I am a huge supporter of our police officers, I'm also a huge supporter of our U.S. military. And there are times, and I'm not really even saying that this is necessarily a clash between our officers and U.S. military so much as it is that this is an example of bad police officers. So this video is pretty short, and obviously there's commentary from the news stations. I've watched this before, but I do want to go back over this again because I want to show you what I'm seeing here, because honestly, I was getting pissed watching this. So what I'd like to do is go ahead and get this playing and let you guys see this video. Apparently this took place about a year ago, actually. And as of yesterday, this was my first time seeing or even hearing of this. So I would like to go ahead and get this going for you guys, and then we'll kind of have some commentary along the way. So,
traffic stop of a black and Latino Army officer in December has been fired. Body camera footage shows Windsor, Virginia police officers Joe Gutierrez and Daniel Crocker pointing their guns at Army Second Lieutenant Karan Nazario before Gutierrez pepper sprays him. Lieutenant Nazario was released without being charged, and he is now suing both officers. CBS News correspondent Christina Raffini has the story.
Let's go.
I'm not sure. I'm going to take this back just a second.
Correspondent Christina.
You see this man is in full uniform here, right? Full uniform, and it's legitimate. I can tell that it's legitimate, and this police officer should have been able to tell it's legitimate. What the hell do you think this man is getting into? I'm not, now listen, I'm not saying that, all of our military are, above reproach, all right? I'm not saying that there's not even bad apples in our U.S. military, and that the potential that a man in uniform couldn't be up to any good. I'm not saying that, but we're going to go a little bit further and watch how this plays out. But the very first thing that pops into my mind is, oh, hey, we've got one of our men in uniform here that serve our country. Maybe, as a police officer that is, doing essentially the same job just on a different level, maybe I can have a little bit of professional courtesy here. So, anyhow.
Raffini has the story.
What's going on?
How many occupants are in your vehicle?
It's only myself. Why are your weapons drawn? What's going on?
Yeah, they had their weapons drawn on this man essentially the entire time.
Or slowly, step out!
Down!
Get out of the car!
Down now!
I have not committed any crime.
His hands are out the window.
And cell phone video. Army.
As you can see, he's keeping his hands visible the entire time. He's wanting to make sure that these officers can see that he is not doing anything.
Second Lieutenant Karan Nazario, still in his uniform, holds his hands out the window of his new car, while two Windsor, Virginia police officers, guns drawn, order him to get out.
I'm honestly afraid to get out.
Yeah, you should be. Get out of the car.
Yeah, you should be afraid to get out of the car? Really? Now, I have long kind of dismissed the whole driving while black argument. And I still think it is an overblown issue, if I'm going to be honest, and I know some people might get mad at me for saying that. But instances like this kind of give credence to that statement. Now, I might be getting ahead of things just a little bit, but it was stated that the reason why they pulled him over was because he didn't have a license plate visible. And it was a black vehicle with all dark tinted windows. And a little bit later, you'll be able to see that he does have his temporary tag up in the upper right hand, but admittedly, it is dark, and at night, maybe the officers couldn't tell. But that still does not warrant what's going on here. Maybe it warrants them stopping him, and I'm not necessarily against them stopping him if they felt that something was up. They also said that he was also traveling at a suspiciously low speed. So sometimes those are, you got a dark vehicle, really dark tinted windows, and traveling at a low speed. And by low speed, it usually means probably under the speed limit, because and officers will consider that suspicious, because usually if a vehicle is driving under the speed limit and no flashers on to indicate that there might be a mechanical issue or something that could be the reason why they're driving at a low speed limit. Basically, that could be an indicator that, you know, some people, when they're committing crimes or something, they try to stay off police radar. So to stay off police radar, obviously they don't want to be speeding. They don't want to be going over the speed limit, because that could mean that they get pulled over for that, and then they end up in trouble. So sometimes they will go at the speed limit or under the speed limit in an effort to take attention off themselves. So maybe that's what these officers were thinking, and they utilized the not being able to see his temp tags as a reason to pull him over. Now, I don't have as much problem with the fact that they felt the need to pull this vehicle over. What I have a problem with is essentially every damn thing that they did past that point.
Now, get out of the car.
Get your hands off me, please. Get your hands off me.
You know what?
Get your hands off me. Get your hands off me.
Back up, dude.
I didn't do anything. Don't do that.
Sir.
Nazario repeatedly asked why he's been pulled over before ex-officer Joe Gutierrez pepper sprays him through the open window.
Sir, just get out of the car.
I'm trying to breathe. Ugh. My dog is in the back. My dog is choking right now.
Get out of the car.
Nazario is then kicked.
There's not a damn excuse you could possibly give me for this. Not a damned one. Now, ordinarily, I'm somebody who, recommends complying with the police officer. Here's the thing. He had a reason to fear for his safety in this instance. Ordinarily, in most cases when I'm watching these videos, it's just outright, negligence as far as them not listening to the officer, or they're trying to look hard in front of their homies or whatever. That's not what's going on here. This guy is legitimately concerned because he's being pulled over. They're not really giving him any true explanation as to why they're pulling him over. He has his hands out the window saying, hey, I'm not doing anything right here. Now, I get, and I could play another video. I'm not going to on this one. Maybe I'll make another video of it. But there was the case of the police officers in Brevard County, Florida, who pulled some folks over. They had a couple people did get out of the vehicle, and they were sitting, but the officers really were not being like on these guys' level, where they were just being, very rough and unnecessarily, I don't know, just assholes. There's just really no better way to put this. They were actually very casually carrying conversation, and they made mention of, you got some young children in your car. Hey, I've got babies at home too. I get it. And they asked for, there was one other person that was inside the back of the vehicle, and they was talking to that guy in the back of the vehicle. Still very casual conversation. They weren't being like these guys here. And, well, this individual then gets out of the vehicle with an AR-style rifle and opens up fire on the officers. So I understand if they're trying to be cautious with who might be in the vehicle, too. That always has to be a factor to be taken into consideration. That doesn't give them, the minute that they saw him in uniform, that should have at least helped them to dial this down a little bit to understand that, well, number one, he's a member of our armed forces, so he's probably not getting into anything. There's a much less likelihood of that. But they still continue to treat him like, he is just some second-class citizen that is beneath them, and essentially the scum on the bottom of their shoe, and that I take a real issue with. That is not cool. The way that they are handling this man is not right. If you are a supporter of our police officers, that is great, and I am with you 150%, but we also have to be willing to call out people like this asshole here who decide that They don't want to treat others with respect, even when there's no direct evidence to support that they could be a threat. If you're an officer watching this, listen, I want you to go home safe to your family every night, and I need you to take every precaution that you can. But come on, use this.
Forced to the ground and put in handcuffs.
Why am I being treated like this? Why?
You're not cooperating.
The incident report says Nazario
I disagree. He was cooperating. You just were not really giving him very much reasoning for why you were doing what you were doing.
was pulled over for not having tags displayed on his SUV. But the temporary dealer plate is...
You can see it up there in that upper right-hand corner. Maybe depending on the street that they were driving down, it may not have been quite as visible. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt when it comes to the reason why they may have pulled the vehicle over. But everything from that point is a major issue
visible
for me.
in the officer's body cam video. The report also said officers treated it as a high-risk stop because Nazario had tinted windows and drove at a very low speed to a gas station before pulling over.
And understand that that is behavior that is typically associated with certain criminal elements in our society. So again, these are things that officers are trained to spot. But there's a point when it's time to go, oh, wait, all right, this isn't what we thought it was. So maybe we can dial this down, have a pleasant conversation, maybe go through a few things just to make sure that everybody's staying safe. But this, from everything I'm seeing, is not justifiable.
A move Gutierrez later said he understood.
As far as you not stopping and you're really comfortable and you want to roll this spot, because that happens all the time.
He did everything that we are told to do for everyone's sake.
Attorney Jonathan Arthur represents Nazario.
When you look in your rearview mirror and you see two firearms pointed at you, you got to get real calm, real quick.
I mean, again, look how he's got his hands out the window. He is doing everything in his power to ensure that these officers are comfortable and showing them he means no threat to them.
If you want to get out of there alive. It's a credit to his training.
What are you, a specialist? Corporal, what are you?
I'm a lieutenant.
According to the
Now watch
lawsuit,
this.
The officers also threatened to derail Nazario's military career if he pursued further action against them.
If you want to just chill, let this go, and no charges filed, we'll take the handcuffs off, we'll get you a bottle of water to drink on, and sit here until you feel comfortable driving.
Let me ask you a question, officer. What if he decided that he wasn't cool with just letting this go, which he clearly isn't, and rightfully so. I hope he sues. And now, from my understanding, these officers have been fired, which I am happy to see because these assholes should not be on the police force. Who the hell films themselves literally committing the crime that he's committing right now with his own body cam? Number one, you're just stupid. Number two, listen to what they're trying to do to this man. U.S. Army, lieutenant, man in uniform right there. You guys are on the same damn side. You might play at different levels, doing different things, but you're on the same side, trying to keep America safe. And this is the shit you pull? But clearly they realize that they screwed up major tonight. Well, that night. And what they're doing now is basically trying to cover their asses and hope that this doesn't come back to bite them. Thankfully, it still did. I just seriously, I'm having trouble wrapping my head around this one. And I understand that this is not a one-and-done incident. I know that things like this happen fairly frequently in our society. I don't believe it is nearly the big of a deal as a lot of people are making it, because somebody will post this video and try to say, well, yeah, this happens every day. I don't really necessarily feel that that is accurate. I have not seen the evidence to support, but we do see that it is happening, and when it does happen, it needs to be squashed. This should not be allowed. And any officers that pull the kind of shit this officer has should be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. You are abusing your power. You are abusing this man who has done nothing but try to serve his country.
Now, after that search of his vehicle turned up no violations, Nazario was released without charge. The governor of Virginia has asked state police to investigate the incident. CBS News reached out to the Windsor Police Department. We did not hear back. Anthony Nazario's attorney said he wanted to file the lawsuit to hold these two officers accountable, and so these kinds of stops stop happening.
Christina Ruffini, thanks, Christina. Wow. I mean, I can't imagine pulling into a gas station and suddenly facing a couple of guys with guns pointed in your window.
But this is the thing, guys. He was calm the whole time.
Yeah.
He was. Literally, the entire time, he did not get irate. Did he question the officer and try to say, like, why the hell am I being treated this way? Sure. And you know what? I would do the same damn thing. I'm going to be having those questions. And he deserved an answer. But he did it calmly. He kept his hands out the window. He tried to show that these officers that he is not a threat to them. But he just had some questions like, what is this about? Why are you, why are you coming after me? Look, see this jacket I'm wearing? I'm in our armed forces. I'm not doing anything. I'm just trying to go home to my family. My only crime here is apparently I bought a new SUV.
And
He was calm. They weren't.
He's in uniform, and when they said he drove at a low rate of speed, that should show he wasn't trying to get away.
No.
And I don't blame him. As a black man in this country, getting stopped on a rural highway, he's thinking, let me get to where there's
Get to
light.
where it's lit, yeah.
And he immediately started cooperating. This is the thing that bothers me. It was such an issue of power and control. They did not treat that man like a human being.
Yeah. And
That's what's so troubling about it.
And since when do you get pulled over for having tinted windows?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. We've got to do better, folks. Any police officers watching this video, I do support you. 100%. But only when you are doing things on the right side of the law. If you are going to conduct yourself in a way that these officers did, I have a big issue with you. You are an insult to the badge you wear on your chest. Now, I don't know, it's been a year since, this event transpired. I'm going to try to look up and see if there's been anything else, any updates on this as far as the status of his lawsuit or anything. But I hope like hell that he wins that lawsuit. He deserves that. That is just... I believe in being balanced in your convictions. As I said, probably at least a half a dozen times by now in this video, I support our law enforcement. I support our military. But I will not support bad apples in either of those divisions. What just really blows my mind here is that these officers saw a man in uniform and still felt the need to treat him the way that they did. These officers want support. They want people to like them. They want people to, to support them. Why can't you give that same courtesy to another man in uniform? Regardless of his color. Now, I do believe that the grand majority of police interactions with folks are not race-related, but I'm not convinced that that was not the case here. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not sure if it was a white man, if they would have acted different. Anyhow, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm interested in your comments. Please subscribe, hit the bell so you get notifications on any new videos that I might put out. You know, I want to continue to research this situation, not just with this particular case, but just with, you know, how this goes in our society. You know, I've got some other videos that shows the other side of the coin, why officers have to approach these situations from certain levels of caution. And I plan to make some videos later, but I came across this one last night, and this one really rubbed me the wrong way, really put me over the edge. It took me a little while to calm down last night, if I'm being honest, because I could not believe the level of treatment that this Army lieutenant had to undergo at the hands of these individuals. Until then, thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching, and you know, hit that, you know, get in those comments, man. Talk to me. You know, tell me what you're thinking here. And if you guys see any other situations like this, please send it my way, because my goal is to be balanced. I don't, you know, I have my opinions. But my opinions I try to balance with logic and reason. And if there's something going on in our society that I'm not quite picking up, I want to know. So please, drop me any other things in the comments that you might come across that you feel that I should see in regards to this or any other topic you might see me make videos on. And again, you know, I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. So thanks again for tuning in, and until next time.